Hey,
Hey Matt, how are you?
good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Hanging in there.
Yeah, I actually just got back from training and it was 45 and hailing out. It was terrible coaching it.
Oh my gosh, where are you training at?
Over in Finland. So beautiful weather this time of year. We had snow last week and
Yeah, I don't even know what the seasons are like there right now, but so it's pretty cold still.
yeah, we get snow sometime in May and then sometime again in October. It usually snows. So
Oh man.
like
Well,
little bit worse than the Midwest.
that's funny because I thought I had it bad here in Chicago.
Yeah, are you guys back to being able to train at all by yourselves or what?
No, I mean, unfortunately in Chicago, we still have a stay-at-home order, so we can't leave the house. I mean, we can train individually, but we can't train with anyone else, so it's been tough.
Have you gone for the creating a TikTok like a lot of players?
Um, to be honest, when the quarantine first started, I was like, there's no way I'm doing that. There's just no way. Like, I'm not even a good dancer. It wouldn't be funny. But then as quarantine went on, I definitely started to like record them. But my roommate and I were like, we're not posting. So we have a bunch of TikToks and we're thinking that one day we just want to create one, we'll just post them all.
Just mass send them.
Yeah. And I don't even know if that's like smart to do all at once, but like we think it would be funny, like everyone thinks that we don't have one, but then bam,
I like it.
we
Yeah,
have like
I
10 videos.
I almost broke a couple times and downloaded it. And I was like, no, I can't. I have to stay strong.
I will say though, it does like pass time because there are
Yeah.
definitely days where I'm like, wow, this is rough. But and then you start doing TikToks and there was one day we did 5 hours of TikToking
Oh
and
my
it
goodness.
was like a workout. So
What's more tiring, a 90-minute soccer match or 5 hours of TikTok?
I mean, I don't know. That's tough. No, I'm just kidding. It's definitely a match, but like right now, it was definitely tiring because it's hard. It's also hard to stay fit right now and be 90-minute fit. So like, we're like working out. And we're like, this is embarrassing. We're breathing heavy. We're sweating. All we're doing is dancing.
Well, just take that same energy to the field when you're back, and you'll get fit right away. Then
Yeah, I mean, I hope so.
I hope so. I saw one guy ran. He had like a small balcony, and he ran back and forth on it to do a whole marathon. It took him like 8 hours, but he did it. So that's an option.
I mean, I think I'd rather retire than do that. A whole marathon on a
Yeah,
balcony?
yeah. It looked terrible because it was only like maximum 25 feet long. So it's just constant turning in 5 steps and turn.
Was he going pretty fast or was he like at a steady pace?
It was just a steady pace. I mean, you
Oh,
can't really pick up speed when you have to turn again so
I know.
quickly.
I was gonna say, so was he jogging or?
It was just a nice little jog out for the day. Do a
Oh,
marathon at home.
that's a lot. That's
Yeah.
he really went for that.
So some people did TikTok, some people ran a marathon. Different
Yeah,
ways to stay busy.
that's true.
All right, welcome back to another Footy and Coffee Conversations. Are you a coffee drinker?
I sure am.
Is
Here we
it
go.
straight black?
Ah, you know, well, it's funny because at first I started and I was like, oh, coffee's gross. But then in college, I was like, I need something here.
Uh-huh.
And then I started off with like the typical like Frappuccino from Starbucks, like every day. And my parents were like, okay, like you need to like not do that. So then it started to be just like iced coffee with a packet of sugar. And now I'm just at iced coffee with a splash of cream. And then sometimes when I'm at a really good coffee shop, I can drink their cold brew black. So
Oh,
here I
wow. Look
am.
at that. Baby
Getting,
steps, but we're here.
yeah. So,
My mom, we were at a grocery store when I was a kid, and I said, I'm thirsty. And she's like, well, the only thing they have here is coffee. And I was like, can I put like sugar or something in it? And she's like, nope, you're going to learn to drink it black so that you never like are at someone's house and be like, I need 2 sugars. And so I started black and never looked back.
No way. I don't know how you
Yeah.
drank that right away. Because it is like, when you aren't used to it, it is kind of gross. Like
It's not
black
good.
coffee. Like, why do people drink this?
I think I cried through the first cup.
Yeah.
To get started, if you just want to introduce yourself, what position you are in the field, and what club you're currently playing for.
Yeah. So I'm Danny Colaprico. I play for the Chicago Red Stars. I'm a midfielder, and this is my 6th year in the NWSL.
Very cool. You grew up in New Jersey. What was the soccer scene like for you at that time? What clubs were you playing for? What were you doing at that point in your early career?
Yeah, so I started playing soccer when, my brother started when he was younger, and I always wanted to do everything that he was doing. So, as much as I hate to admit that, but I just wanted to kind of follow in his footsteps. So I always went out and played with him and his friends, and even trained with his team. And then I'd say around 5 years old, I decided to join a rec team, and it's kind of a funny story. My parents put me on a girls rec league team, and it was the first time I was always playing with boys and my brother's friends. So it was the first time I was playing with like girls. And so I got on the field and we're about to do the kickoff, and the whistle blows and I'm like doing the kickoff, and I just start crying, and I like run off the field to my parents, and I'm screaming, and I'm like, I don't want to play with girls, like screaming. And my parents are like, oh, whose child is this, kind of thing, like, get in the car. And it was just like a funny story because they always like make fun of me, and my whole family brings it up every single time we're talking about soccer. And so after that, I just kind of kept playing with my brother's teams, and he was 3 years older than me, so it wasn't that big of a difference at that time because we were so young. And then I actually wound up joining a boys travel team, and my dad was the coach, so that was pretty cool. So I did the boys travel team up until high school.
Oh, wow.
And then at that point, I think it was to the point where, I stopped growing and stopped getting faster and stronger, where like these boys were just like growing and outrunning me. I was just getting kind of like bodied basically. And so my dad was like, yeah, we got to get you on a girls team also because you want to play in college, and for recruiting purposes we need to get you on a girls team. So then I wound up playing for PDA, Players Development Academy.
Now, the first game with them, did you run off the field crying again? Or?
No, actually, I didn't. But I will say, one of the positives of playing with, or like pros about playing with the boys team, is that I felt like I was like almost like a step ahead in terms of like, I guess, athleticism. And I felt strong, and I kind of had that like competitive edge where like I wasn't going to get pushed off the ball. And it kind of gave me like this grittiness about me. So I'd say that was pretty cool because I think some of the girls in the team were like, okay, who is this? Like, we don't do that here, but like, I guess this is good. But I didn't cry, which is good.
That's good. Improvement.
What'd you say?
I said that's improvement.
I know, growth, right?
Growth.
So I wound up really liking my time at PDA, and I played there up until college. So yeah.
What was the goal when you were growing up? Was it just to go to college? Were you thinking professional? What was kind of your thoughts at that age?
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like a lot of professional athletes, realize at a young age where they want to be a professional athlete. And I'd say I like truthfully wasn't really thinking about being a professional athlete until probably later in my college experience. And I'd say at that time, especially when I was in New Jersey, I knew I wanted to play in college at least, and I wanted to go to a good soccer college. So it was more so just like focusing on that. But really young, I was just playing because I was enjoying it so much. And I seriously just I really just wanted to do everything my brother was doing. And I looked up to him a lot. And it was kind of cool to have my dad as my coach at such a young age. There were definitely times when it wasn't fun, but
some awkward car rides home.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was one time where I had a nighttime training, and during the day I begged my dad to let me go to Six Flags with a friend. And he was like, you have training tonight, so, I mean, I don't think it's a smart idea. Like, you're going to be tired. You're not going to be ready for training. You probably shouldn't go. And I was begging him. Like, I was like, just please let me go. I promise you, like, I will be fine at training. Like, I won't walk around. I'll hydrate and all this stuff. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're not going to walk around at Six Flags? That doesn't make sense. But so he wound up letting me go. So I go, and then on the way home, we hit so much traffic that I had to have my friend's parents drop me at training, and I wound up being late. And so, like, I had never been late to a training. I never, like, really been in trouble with my dad because of soccer. So I show up, and I'm, like, sprinting over to the training, and they had already started. They were doing their warm-up with the ball. I sprint over, I grab a ball, and I think I'm just going to, jump in, Like, I'm like, oh, like, he won't even notice.
And slide in.
He won't even notice his daughter is here, the only girl. So I start dribbling around, and he goes, let's pause there, and tells the team to pause. He goes, Danielle, come here. And I was like, oh, no. So I, like, walk over, and in front of the whole team, he goes, you think you're just going to jump into training? Like, you weren't 20 minutes late? And I was like, oh, no. And then he goes, you know what? I think it's a good idea if you start doing laps around the complex. He goes, I'll tell you when to stop.
Oh, gosh.
This man made me run around the complex the whole training until he needed numbers for the scrimmage at the end. And then he starts yelling over, we need you now. And I was like, oh, wow. Did
you ride home with him in the car after?
Oh, yeah. It was dead silent. And, well, the problem was that I was so angry, but I also knew I was wrong. So, like, I had nothing to say. And he had told me not to do it and not to go, and I still went, which was the problem. So I was just like, kind of like, I remember I had my like hoodie up and I was just staring out the window. I was like, this is not fun, and I'm never going to Six Flags before training again.
You get home and your mom's like, hey, honey, how was training?
Oh, no. Yes, that's exactly right. She's like, what do you guys want for dinner? And I'm like, I'm just going to go in my room. I'm good. I'm not hungry.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
But you had a lot of success. You also played for Red Bank Catholic High School, had 70 goals, 35 assists, 3 conference tournament championships, 3 non-public South A titles, as well as Gatorade New Jersey Player of the Year. So obviously excelled. Was a very good player in high school. What led you to deciding on Virginia for university?
Yeah, so I feel like I decided that kind of late in my late in high school, and I feel like a lot of kids nowadays are committing so early, like freshman, sophomore year, whereas I kind of waited a bit, and that's actually kind of a funny story too, because I was looking at, I'd say 5 or 6 schools, and the one I wanted to go to was UVA because I had known the coach, Steve Swanson, from regional camps because I did Region 1 ODP, and I liked his style of play. I thought he was a great coach, and it was funny because he was my Region 1 coach when we went to the Boca tournament that was in Florida where all the regions compete. And that was the 1 year of ODP where I didn't play. I was on the bench, and but I still really enjoyed like his style of play and his values and his goals and everything he thought about the game. So I still wanted to kind of play for him, and I thought it was kind of a challenge to play for someone that may not have saw, I guess, your ability like at a younger age. I kind of wanted to prove to him that I was good enough.
You're
So
like a
that was,
vendetta choosing your school.
yeah. I feel like when a coach or anyone kind of like doubts me, it kind of fuels me, and it makes me want to prove to them that I can be the player I think I can be, kind of thing. So I really wanted to play for him. And then that was interesting because I was looking at other schools. All the other schools really wanted me, and then I still wanted to go to UVA. But the problem was that Steve Swanson, the coach, was kind of just like, I just remember his words exactly. He was like, Danny, I'm intrigued. But I don't see it yet. And I just I need more. You need to show me more when I come to see you play. And so like, then I would get really nervous, and,
Oh, I'm sure.
it was hard, like when I knew he was there, and he would always be like, I'm going to come see you play. Like, I'm excited to see you. We're super interested. We just need to see more. And every time he would come see me play, I would just I would not play. I would not show up, and I wouldn't be myself. I was constantly thinking about messing up, which was never something I was afraid of. So that was interesting. And then, luckily the assistant coach, came to see me play, and I'd say it was middle of, what was it? Middle of junior year of high school. And I didn't know she was at the game. She just showed up. And, I wound up playing the game of my life. My parents and I always talk about it. I was doing stuff that I had never seen myself do before. I think I was just playing freely. I was like, oh, this is fun. I was having fun, which was the main thing that I feel like I thrive off of when I'm playing well. It's because I'm having so much fun. And so she came to see me play, and then she reached out to the head coach, Steve Swanson, and said, hey, look, we need to get her. I just saw some things I haven't seen out of a player at that age in a long time. And then she was kind of my saving grace. So he wound up calling me, and then it worked out. And then I chose Virginia. I went on my visit, which was great. I kind of wanted to balance academics and athletics when I was going to college, and I feel like that was a great fit for that. The campus was beautiful, and I met some of the girls, and I really enjoyed my time with them and my stay with them. So that was good. And then, it was it went from feeling I remember I would come home from games just bawling, crying, because I was I'm never going to be able to go there, and I want to go there so bad. And I would beg my dad to call him. He's like, I'm not calling him. You need to prove to him this isn't me. And I was but Dad, putting it on him. And I think there was a phone call he made, but didn't tell me. So it wound up working out, and yeah, that's kind of how I decided. It wasn't a smooth path.
Yeah. So you have a coach who's like, I need to see more from you. Every time he comes and watches you, you get nervous and don't play free and as up to your ability. And then you're like, that's the coach I want to go play for 4 years.
Yeah, it's weird how my brain works. I don't know. You would think that I would just find a coach that really wanted me and believed in me. But that's the thing. I can't say that. I can't say that Steve didn't believe in me. I think he stuck around so long because he did believe that I had the ability. He just needed to see it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, that's two very different things. Knowing that you have it, but wanting to see it, and then not having any faith in you.
Yeah, it's hard for a coach to take someone on board when they haven't seen them perform well.
Yeah, absolutely. How does it go for you at Virginia? How does it start freshman year? Are you playing a lot at that point? What's kind of the process, the transition from high school to college?
Yeah, so I'd say the transition was a bit hard for me. In club days, I feel like I was a player that was very much so an attacking player, and I played on the wing and had a lot of freedom just because I feel like at the club level, a lot of players, especially in the NWSL, are one of the better players on the team, and they have a lot more freedom to do what they kind of want to do. And I feel like I was kind of, in a sense, I wouldn't say like a lazy player. I just kind of pick and choose when I wanted to defend.
I think that's lazy.
So I hate using that word. Okay, fine. I was lazy, but
you just worded it in a good way.
Yeah. It's all about the wording,
Exactly.
So in club, I kind of just like waited up top and on the flank, and to be fair, my coach was like, just be our outlet. We'll find you wide when we win it. We'll find you, and then you can attack. And he kind of just wanted to save all my energy in a sense for attacking, which I understand to a degree, but it never allowed me to kind of be a player that worked on both sides of the ball. So I was constantly just attacking. So when I got to UVA, which is where, Steve Swanson always, he made sure everyone played on both sides of the ball. It was 11 attacking and 11 defending.
You're like, wait, what?
Yeah. So like, it didn't even like click in my head, like maybe I should do both, like, especially at this level. So I was playing wide. I was getting moved around kind of because I don't think he really knew where to play me at. And I'll never forget, it was one of my like first games as a freshman where I got subbed in, and I feel like in club I had a lot of freedom to dribble and go at people, and maybe one or two or even three players where I would just dribble the ball. And I feel like at that level at UVA, it kind of didn't fly because the level was a lot better. So there was one game where I started to just dribble in the center of the field in a terrible spot to dribble the ball. So I started dribbling, and then I wound up losing the ball, and it's so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. I don't even know why I'm telling people this.
You're openly just sharing this.
Yeah, it's okay. Clearly I'm over it because I don't care to share it. So I lost the ball, and then I just like started walking. Like, meanwhile, their team's like transitioning, going to goal, and I'm walking. And then I will never forget one of my teammates, who's actually my roommate now, Morgan Bryan, sprinted by me. And I just remember she sprinted by me and then slide tackled the girl, won the ball, and then started going the other way. And the worst part about it is that she wins the ball, and I looked at her and I go, yeah, I'm open. Then I like called for the ball back. Meanwhile, she had sprinted by me, won the ball, and then I was asking for it. And she kind of like looked at me like, is this a joke? And so then, Steve he harped on film a lot, and he kind of just like, he made it clear that he'll call people out in film, and it's not personal. It's more so he wants us to grow as players. So that right after that game, we had a film session the next week, and he pulled up the clip on the screen, and
you're like,
all right, guys, let's just watch this. And like, we're watching, and it's crazy because I was so unaware that I didn't even think that he was going to like call me out. Like, it didn't even cross my mind. So I just remember he like looked at me and he was like, so, Colaprico, you want to walk me through what you're thinking here? And then I go, oh, well, I definitely shouldn't have dribbled the ball there. Terrible, like, place to dribble the ball, center of the field. If they were to win it, they go straight to goal. And he goes, no, that's not what I took away from this. And I was like, okay, like, what's up? He goes, I'm not concerned, like, about, yeah, definitely don't dribble the ball in the center of the field. What's concerning to me is that you lost the ball, then didn't even try to win the ball back, and then you proceeded to ask for the ball once your teammate won it, and you wanted the ball back. So then, like, everyone, like, started to giggle, and I was like, I started laughing because I was like, okay, yeah, that's really bad. And, like, from that day, I was so embarrassed, and, like, I don't know. I just turned into almost a player that defends way more than she attacks.
So,
here I am.
At least you learned from it, though, right? The purpose of the film is to learn and grow from it. So you definitely learned. a lesson there?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely learned one there.
Oh man. Was the posture at the rest of the film session similar to the one in the car with your dad after coming late to practice?
Oh yeah, I think I put the hood up, kind of sat in my seat, and I was like, "Okay, sorry guys,
Uh,
won't
the
happen
worst,
again."
the worst is when you make a mistake like that, and in your mind you're like, after the game you're like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna have to relive that in film session. That's the worst
You
feeling.
know it's coming. You just know. Oh yeah, that's never fun. But I will say it's like good to like see and get coached and be told what's right and what's wrong.
Lose the ball, not tracking back.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Wrong. Very, very clear that it's wrong, but clearly I didn't know when I was younger.
But now you know.
Now I know.
When university was professional soccer becoming the not just dream, but maybe like, oh, this is a reality that can happen?
Yeah, I'd say probably in my junior season at UVA. I feel like uh, that's kind of when I saw that I thought that I kind of had potential to play at the professional level. It was definitely I was definitely better my junior year than my sophomore and freshman year. And I remember sitting down with Steve, and he was basically like, "Hey, like you have a chance to, get drafted and play at the next level. Like, I think you should consider it." And I just remember hearing that from him and being like, okay, like, and then that's kind of when I like reshifted my focus on I want to enter the draft, and I want to play at the next level. Like, my soccer career isn't going to be over. So I'd say junior year is kind of when I realized that my soccer career was gonna hopefully go on.
Yeah, and you had a lot of success again at Virginia. You are at the time was record holder in assists with 44, 19 goals, I think 100 appearances for Virginia, and ACC Midfielder of the Year your senior year, as well as other honors. You guys had success the first College Cup final as well. You made it to. What was that like, kind of, being a part of so many successful things on the field and growing what the university, its history, kind of its legacy?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a cool experience to be a part of. I feel like, I know this is like pretty cliche to say, but I don't think I would gotten all those accolades, or we wouldn't have obviously made it to the Final Four or even the championship senior year, like, without the whole team. I feel like there was like so many other great players at UVA at the time when we were there, and everyone kind of wanted to work towards the same goal, and the chemistry was good on and off the field, that it almost made it easy for you know everyone to be at their best. So there was never a time where I would step on the field and not feel like I could trust my teammates to have my back, or to work hard or anything. I feel like I always just knew that they were going to be there. So it allowed me to to play freely and, be myself and be creative on the ball, and knowing that if I were to, give the ball away or mess up or anything, that they would be right there behind me, and, we would get through, the hardships together. So I feel like I definitely, and also I was playing a winger, so I feel like, and I took the corner kick, so I feel like assisting all those goals, like the goals wouldn't have happened if someone wasn't on the other end of the ball. So
Right.
everyone's like, oh, that's so like crazy. You had so many assists, but at the same time, I was playing with great like goal scorers, and that was also the special thing that you don't find often, is that everyone on the field can score goals. There were definitely games where we had 4 or 5 different players score goals, and you don't see that as often, where nowadays, especially I'd say in our league, is you always have that 1 or 2 players, that
Mm-hmm.
finish all your goals. So it's hard to, be creative and find different ways to score. Whereas when I was at UVA, I knew that if I put my head down, went 1v1, beat a defender, and looked up to cross the ball, there were going to be multiple runs in the box. And yeah, multiple runs in the box and someone there that's going to finish the ball. So I'd say like that was definitely the key to all of my success at UVA.
Yeah, I was looking at the roster, and you guys had quite a stacked squad some of those years. That's crazy.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Yeah, so then you get drafted, the 9th pick. You have to leave the East Coast, head to Chicago. What's the experience like getting drafted, finally, you know, kind of realizing a big dream, I'm sure, of becoming a professional athlete?
Yeah, it's definitely, it was definitely a cool experience. I'd say, leading up to the draft, I didn't really know where I was going to wind up. I had trained with Sky Blue in the summers in between college seasons. So, in my head, I kind of just always had my sights on, you know, hopefully playing at Sky Blue and playing at home. So that was kind of my thought process going into it. And I knew the coach really liked me and wanted to draft me. And then I'd say a couple days prior to the draft, I got a phone call from Rory Dames from the Chicago Red Stars. And he basically was like, hey, like, what do you think about coming to Chicago? And I was like, oh gosh. So like at first it kind of put me in a panic. I was like, oh wait, I have to leave home. Like this is going to be weird. I don't know, going to a big city. So at first I
hope your answer was like, honestly, I'm a little bit, you know, not interested because you want me. I play for coaches who don't want me more.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because I'll tell you what Rory said once I got drafted at the draft. So then he calls me, and of course, like, I want to keep my options open. I would never tell a coach I don't want to go. Like, I think, you know, wherever I wound up, I wanted to make the most of it, wherever it was. And so I told him, I was like, yeah, I mean, Chicago sounds like a great city. I'd love to be a part of the team, and told him that I would be happy to join Chicago. So then we got to the draft, and obviously I'm a little nervous still. And I just hear my name called by Chicago Red Stars, and I'm like, wow, like, this is actually happening. Like, I'm not going home. I'm not going to get to play in front of my family. I'm moving to a big city. This is crazy. I've never really done something like this. So, and then this is the funny part. I'm walking up to the stage to give a speech, like, after I got drafted, and Rory, the head coach, walks up to me and he goes, and my club coach at PDA his name was Mike. And so Rory walks up to me and he he whispers, Mike better be right. And then I was like, so then now I have to go on the stage and give a speech. And I'm like, and at this point, I don't really know what his personality's like. I don't know if he's obviously he's being sarcastic, but I don't know, like, is he like is there a little truth to that? Like, is that what he's actually thinking? I have no idea. So I'm like giving my speech and I'm like, oh, this is going to be wonderful. So, I mean, it turned out to go really well. And then, like, I got drafted and then I walked up the stage and I was like, I looked at him and I was like, didn't you need to say that? And then I was like telling my dad, I was like, he told me this one before the speech. And like my dad was laughing and it was funny. But yeah, I mean, it turned out I love my time in Chicago and I'm so happy it worked out the way it did because I couldn't imagine playing for any other club, at least not at this point in my life.
Yeah, you head to Chicago. Then you decide to star in an episode of Chicago Red Stars Cribs Rookie Edition. That is just some incredible content if anyone's bored to look that up on YouTube.
Oh gosh, I forgot about that until you just mentioned it. I remember they asked us to do that and I was like, I don't think you want to know what goes on in this apartment.
It was gold.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Good times with that. I'm wondering if you guys are gonna remake it, kind of a veteran Cribs edition now. You know, started from the bottom.
That's actually a really good idea. I should suggest that. That's good.
I'd be curious to see it, see what's changed. Do you still have all the boxes that you're saving in the closet?
Yeah, no. I'd say, it's a lot cleaner, a lot nicer, yeah.
Step
I'm
up.
kind of embarrassed. I hope no one goes to watch that. Just so everyone knows, I was fresh out of college and didn't know what I was doing still. So
yeah, it was a finding yourself time.
Yes, 100%.
Then you do well your rookie season. You win NWSL Rookie of the Year. You steal it from a guest we had on the show before.
Did you guys talk about that?
No, just that she was a finalist for it, but didn't want to bring up any hard feelings. No, but you obviously did well to win Rookie of the Year. So you started, you were playing well. What's the experience like? You go from, I always think it's interesting, you go from university, you're the oldest player on the team. You've been at that team for, 4 years. You have experience. You're the veteran. And then you go into not just a new team, but now you're a rookie. You're trying to prove yourself, while also now it's a business and you're essentially trying to take somebody else's job and, force them out of the team. So what is that like coming in as a rookie?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was definitely a little bit scary where I was going into a team where I didn't know if I was going to see the field or let alone, was I even going to make the team? And I didn't really know what to expect. But it turned out that when I got there, all the girls were super welcoming and, the coach was great and he, instilled a lot of confidence, I'd say, in me when I, went through my rookie season. I feel like he kind of gave me the freedom to, play how I want to play and do the things that I want to do. And I think that's the most important thing that, led me to get Rookie of the Year. It's hard to play for a coach when, he puts restrictions on you or, doesn't let you do certain things. But I think that Rory believed in me a lot and he thought I was a good player. So he allowed me to, have a lot of freedom on the field. And, that's what I kind of needed to be at my best. And, if I lost the ball or gave the ball away, obviously he'd get on me. But I always kind of knew that he believed that I would, recover from that and, not make that same mistake again. And I learned from it. So it was good to have a coach that, allowed me to have a lot of freedom.
Absolutely. You have a lot of success at Red Stars throughout your career. You've been NWSL Second 11, 2015, 16, 17. Another change, I believe, was you kind of switched from only hip hop to also bring some country music into your lifestyle.
That's funny.
Is that true? Is that a truthful statement?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. In college, I only listened to rap, hardcore rap. If my parents only knew what I was listening to, they'd be like, "Who is our daughter? I don't think we know her." So it was hardcore rap and hip hop only, and then that's kind of what got me going for training and games. Whereas when I was in Chicago, I obviously started listening to hip hop and rap, and I feel like a lot of the girls on the team preferred country or I don't know, just something that's not so intense. And so I actually wound up really enjoying listening to, country music and slower paced music to help me get ready for training and games. And I'd say now that I listen to way more country than I do hip hop and rap, and it's kind of whoa, is this what I was listening to in college? It's kind of, I don't know if this is okay. But yeah, definitely made a switch there for sure.
I went to one of my favorite concerts of all time at Wrigleyville. I went to a Zac Brown concert, and that was incredible. So
I love Zac Brown. That's cool.
So good at music. What's your go-to song right now?
I feel like there's a few. I'm really into Sam Hunt. I love all of his music, and I'd say I honestly say every Sam Hunt song.
Okay,
but
just Sam Hunt.
Yes. And I really wish there was going to be a concert in Chicago with Sam Hunt. And I'm just like, I don't even know if concerts are going to happen now.
Yeah,
What's going
that
on?
might be a while.
Yeah. But I'd say anything Sam Hunt, Zach Brown Band, Thomas Rhett. I feel
There
like,
you go.
yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So you playing in Chicago for the Red Stars during the off seasons. Some people go home, some people train at home. You decide to head to Australia to play in the women's league there. What's that experience like? You're traveling. You're now not just going from the East Coast to the Midwest. Now you're traveling halfway across the world. Is that difficult transition?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. I feel like the league there is, it's a lot shorter and a lot more laid back in the sense that they don't train every day. It's only, I'd say, 3 trainings a week and then games on the weekend. So it was kind of nice to be able to, keep playing and be training with a team and getting games in the off season because, I mean, when I first went to Australia, our off season with the NWSL was 5 months. And there's only so much you can do when you're on your own training or even with a couple other girls, and nothing really, gets you ready for a 90-minute game and be ready for preseason outside playing in games. So I thought it just made sense for me to go overseas and play for a little. And I wound up loving my time in Adelaide. And so I went back the following year to play again in Adelaide. And I love my time. I think our team struggled a bit, but we had a lot of younger players, which made it difficult for, us to win games and, lack of experience showed and stuff like that. So that was hard because I hadn't been on a team my whole career where we were losing, I think, every game.
It's mentally exhausting to be on a
so
team like
I
that.
remember there was definitely one time when I was in Adelaide, and I just remember I broke down and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I think I need to leave because you don't realize how hard it is to just be on a team that is consistently losing and also be on a team where sometimes you have players that are giving up, and it's never a good vibe to be around when even if we were losing every game, I don't want to be surrounded by players that are kind of giving up, and I feel like I sensed that. So it was definitely difficult in that regard. And then two years ago, I wound up, making the switch and playing for Sydney. And I mean, that was just an amazing experience.
A little
I feel
more
like,
winning.
Yeah, a lot more winning. Yeah, so it was good that I made the switch. I love Sydney. It is a huge city, so definitely a lot of traffic, but outside that, I feel like the training sessions were a lot better. I felt way more prepared going into the next NWSL season than I did in Adelaide, so that was good. And obviously we won the W League championship in Sydney that year, so that was really cool because believe it or not, I hadn't won a championship before that because at UVA we lost senior year in the national championship, so it was good to have that feeling.
I'm sure, yeah, get a good experience to finally.
I was like, where's the confetti? I'm ready. Everyone's like, the confetti. I'm like, come on. I haven't done this yet.
I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, that's funny. I remember looking at Sofia Huerta because she was on the team, and I look at her, I go, I don't know how to respond. What do we do? And she was like, I don't know, grab the trophy. We'll take a picture. I was like, oh, gosh. I'm like, are we supposed to kiss the sides of it? Is that what you do?
I feel like you guys should not be allowed to be together. It's dangerous.
No.
So now I want to get into your experience with the U.S. Women's National Team. I think, to me, it's just a very unique situation, maybe I could say. Usually when someone gets invited into the national team, they get, training camp, maybe they get a couple appearances, and then either it takes off from there or they never get another shot at it. You have gotten some call-ups and then some longer gaps in between it. What has that been like? First and foremost, obviously getting getting capped with the U.S. national team. I mean, that's the ultimate dream of any soccer players, to represent their country and wear their crest on their chest. What is that first experience like? And then how is it mentally with the kind of gaps between the call-ups?
Yeah, I mean, after my rookie season was my first call-up, and I think, you know, at that point I'm still young, and, you know, I hadn't experienced a national team camp at that point. So I really didn't know what to expect going in. And I think I was more just excited and like happy to be there kind of thing. Whereas as time went on, and like a couple years ago when I got called in after or during my time at Sydney, it was more like I need to put my head down and go to work and get stuff done. And, you know, this is something I want to be a part of, and I want to play for my country. So I need to earn the spot. Whereas it wasn't so much like, I'm just happy to be here. Like, this is great. Like, cool. So it's definitely a mental battle when, you know, you're called in and then you're not called in, then you're called back, and then you're not called back. And it's hard because I feel like the seasons in the NWSL, I feel like I was very deserving of getting called in. And it's tough when you're you're brought into this camp where it's all the best players in the world, and the level just jumps by, I mean, a lot. Right. So where you're no longer one of the better players on your team, everyone's just very good. And, you know, it's like, the intensity is way higher. Everyone's way more serious. This is, you know, they mean business there. So I think that was the hardest thing for me to transition to, where I felt at Chicago, I had a lot of confidence. I was playing freely. I was having fun. And I kind of like, you know, strayed away from those values I had, and, you know, kind of just like hid, wasn't myself, just kind of to want to blend in, where that wasn't going to get me anywhere. So I feel like when I went back the last time I got called in Sydney, I really focused on not trying to just blend in, and, you know, doing the things I do on the field and making sure I'm showing them the, you know, qualities I have. And I wound up playing like the best camp I had. I want to say, and that's when the camp where I got my first national team cap. It was the, you know, that camp, I thought I played the best I had in any camp. So it was good to have that feeling where I knew I could, you know, hang with the team kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people always ask me, like, what was your thought? Like, were you nervous for your first cap? Did you know you were going to play kind of thing? And I just remember having a talk with the coach being like, be ready. Like, we want to put you in the game kind of thing. And I feel like just having that, like, good camp leading up to that day of the game allowed me to have confidence in myself and know that I, you know, the girls believed me, the coach believed in me, the coach believed in me, and I just need to, you know, go out there and have fun and enjoy the experience. So it turned out that at halftime of the first match of that camp, I was put in as a 6, which is where I play, and I just, like, all of any nerve I had just, like, went away. And I was, like, just happy. I was so excited and, like, happy that this moment had come. And I was just, you know, I was, like, ready at that point. Yeah. Which is a really good feeling. And I just remember talking to the coach after the game, and she was like, it seems like you've been here the whole time. And I'm like, oh, gosh. Well, that's kind of funny because I've been called in, then not called in, then called in. So, and then I just, like, laugh. But, yeah, so that was really good. And then, unfortunately, like, a couple camps later, right leading up to the World Cup, the first day of one of the camps, I strained my groin, which was kind of, like, super devastating because I feel like at that point I was comfortable and, you know, happy at where I was at playing. And for something like that to happen, like, so randomly, and I just obviously didn't even see it coming. And it was kind of just like a spur of the moment thing where I reached for a ball and just strained my groin, and I immediately was like, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I'm sure so frustrating because, I mean, I know you were even on, like, lists of, you know, potential kind of dark horse candidates to make the World Cup roster and everything like that. And so to have an injury derail that dream at that point is pretty upsetting, especially over just reaching for a ball. It's like, are you serious?
Exactly. I was like, it couldn't be something cool. Like I was like, sliding and like scored and then something happened.
Yeah,
I was just
something
reaching for
worthwhile.
A ball. And it was like, I just like reached for the ball and then I just stopped running. And I was like, oh, so something happened there. Do I walk off? Like what happens? Like, what do I do now?
Was it mentally challenging at that time to go through that? How did you kind of refocus and continue to, because I think when it's I don't know, maybe it's almost like a middle school relationship, on again, off again type thing. How do you keep motivated and working towards that dream when it's not like a guarantee that it is, maybe it will, maybe it won't type of thing?
Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like right when it happened, I obviously was like, oh, this sucks. But I kind of like had like a positive attitude about it and knew that I would come back from the injury. I think every month we got closer to the World Cup where I was still struggling with my groin. Obviously, I was more and more devastated about what had happened, and it was getting harder for me to, get past it and move on. And that was definitely the toughest bit. I'd say when I was going through it, though, it's a weird thing where when you're going through something, you don't really realize how stressed out you might be or how worried you are until you're out of it, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So like I remember being in those months and being like, it's fine, like I'm gonna get back, I still got a chance to make the team kind of attitude. And then like as the year went on, I feel like looking back, I was like, wow, like I was so stressed out. I was not myself. I was always worried about my groin and trying to rush back. And, it's hard to realize that when you're in the moment. And I definitely have the type of personality that's like, I'm good, I'm fine. And then I look back and I'm like, I was not fine.
I was not okay.
I was not okay. Maybe should have saw someone. So, but I mean, what I will say is that going through all those mental hardships and stuff allowed me to grow to where and be the person I am today. And just like kind of relax and know that, injuries happen. They're going to happen, especially as your career goes on. And I feel like you'll always overcome them if you really believe that. So, just experiencing those things allowed me to be a lot stronger now. Cause I feel like, I'm still nursing an ankle injury a little bit. And I feel a lot better about myself right now than I have in the past when I've gone through injuries. So it's pretty like cool to see like the growth in those types of things. Whereas like even as like a person off the field, mm-hmm. I feel like you grow a lot when you go through stuff like that, which is the other thing that I've tried to like focus on, is that when you're going through something hard, I feel like you need to realize that you're gonna learn from this experience. You're gonna grow. It's it's all part of the plan, and you shouldn't dwell on those experiences, and just do all the things you can do to control what you can control.
A very mature perspective. I like it.
Thanks.
I like it.
So you think I'm mature?
I can see growth in your story arc.
I'm not really sure what my first year Danny would have said.
but look at you now. Speaking of younger you, obviously you're not old in your career, but you're also not a rookie. What advice, if you could go back to 15-year-old self, what would be the biggest advice that you would give yourself in terms of soccer?
The biggest advice, I'd say the biggest advice I'd give myself, a younger self, and my younger self would just be that you're the only person who you can count on to believe in yourself all the time. You're the only constant. And I feel like, going through my years at my soccer career, I feel like I always kind of relied on other people to instill confidence in me, whether it was my coaches or, you know, friends or teammates or whatever it is. But I feel like now I'm in a position where I know that the only person I can rely on to, you know, give myself confidence and truly believe in myself is myself. And knowing that is like such a powerful thing, because I feel like there's a lot of times where players are looking for their coach. And obviously it's nice to have a coach that believes in you and gives you confidence and stuff. But at the same time, you're not always going to have coaches or even teammates that do believe in you. And, you know, sometimes they're not going to be on your side, or they're not going to, you know, want to play you or whatever it is. And I feel like just knowing that you yourself is your only constant all the time and believing that is so powerful.
100%. 100%. No, I agree. And it is interesting. I think for me, when I was a younger player, I was always looking for like the coach to say good game or whatever after it, and needing that. And sometimes like now as a coach, I'm like, oh, I forgot to tell that guy good game. Not that I didn't think he had a good game, but it's like, you know, you're busy with something else in that moment after the game. So then you text him after or whatever. But it's like, if you as a player live and die by a coach's or a teammate's standard, it's like maybe they even did think you played well, but they just didn't tell you that time. And then you're going home all the world's ending.
Sure.
So I like that self-belief. What is your why? What motivates you? What's your passion for playing soccer after all these years?
I'd say definitely my parents and my brother. I feel like growing up, watching my parents go to work every day, and they're such hard workers. And, you know, they really believe in what they do and stuff like that. I feel like kind of put that in my perspective. And I just want to work hard and, you know, be the best that I can be every day, in and out on the field and even as a person. Because I feel like growing up that's something that they always did. And same with my brother. I mean, I told you before that I grew up playing with him, and I always wanted to do everything he did. And I feel like he's such a hard worker. You know, he's driven, and you know, he wants to be the best version of himself that he can be. And I feel like that kind of, you know, I love that about them, and that's something I want to do, and I want to be, and I want to, you know, work hard every day, and I want to, you know, be the best version of myself I can be. And stuff like that. So I feel like I'd say my parents and my brother.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking time to share your story. It's been entertaining. If again, everyone, if you have time, go back and type in Cribs Rookie Edition for a little throwback fun.
And maybe be on the lookout for a veteran one.
Be on the lookout for a veteran one, and possibly just an explosion of TikTok videos in the future.
Oh, gosh.
But I appreciate you taking time to share your story, and it's been fun to see your growth mentally through your experiences in the game.
Of course. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye.